2 hours on there. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. So what I'm doing is I'm doing some baked ziti. And if you watched one of my videos, I think I may have put it up. I said that my baked ziti is made a little bit differently. Baked ziti is not normally made with hamburger meat, but mine's is. So my hamburger meat is ready. I'm feeding my son's football team. It's about 69 boys up at camp. It's going to be me and another mom who is doing baked ziti, and I'm sure hers is not going to look like mine's because mine's going to be good, as Rupa would say. But so what I do first before I talk to you about this is normally for my family, I will use just one big package of hamburger meat, and it'll be anywhere from 2.5 pounds to maybe 3 pounds, 3 pounds and some change that I would do. Now, if you don't do hamburger meat, you can do ground turkey. That's just what we do. And I'm gonna bring this over here so you can see because it's pretty much done. Before I show you that, it is done. Actually, not pretty much. So this is what my ground beef look like. And what I do is I brown my beef. I brown it, drain it, and then for the sauce, I use crushed tomatoes in a can of oh, you probably didn't see that. I use crushed tomatoes. You could buy any kind. And I use tomato paste, and you know with tomato paste you have to add a little bit of water to break it down. I use 2 cans of tomato paste in 1 can. You don't want it soupy. That's what you don't want. It's not spaghetti. It's baked ziti. You know, you're gonna have the cheeses and stuff in there too. That's gonna add to it. So you want it just right. And as you can see with mine, it's not soupy. That the 2 can tomato paste cans, I added a very little bit of water, not even a cup, maybe like a half a cup, because I had the crushed tomatoes that was wet as well, that will break it down. So this is what it looks like. And then once it browns and I pour my sauce on top, I'll season my sauce as well because I season my ground beef before I cook it. And so what I seasoned it with, y'all know my normal seasonings. I seasoned my ground beef before I cooked it with, I use my pink Himalayan salt for everything. This adobo is really good. I get all my seasonings from Sprouts. You probably could find this at Safeway or any other grocery store. And so that's what I season my ground beef with. And then once it's drained and ready, I season my sauce with these same ingredients. The only ingredient that I add to it that I don't add to my meat before cooking is sugar. Yes, I put sugar in my sauce. It is so delicious. I put sugar in my spaghetti sauce. I put sugar in my when I make lasagna, and I put sugar in my macaroni and cheese. And then I also added this to the sauce as well, oregano. But I'm also going to add that oregano. So that's how I do my ground beef mixture. Now my next mixture, let's go to the noodles. So when you're doing any type of noodles, whether it's spaghetti noodles, elbow macaroni noodles, you always boil the water first before you put the noodles in. And in my water, I add, I buy this kind of salt, Morton's. I sprinkle this. It may be like, I don't know, 2 tablespoons of salt. And then I pour in there my extra virgin olive oil, because I didn't have any more extra virgin olive oil, because this is what I use to pan fry my foods. I use this. This is like my second container of this. It's supposed to be really good. Culinary algae oil. It doesn't taste bad. It has a neutral taste. You can cook with it, bake with it, and grill. It's a high heat cooking oil, and it's in a non-aerosol spray can. Are you serious? Did this thing cut off? It went in an error. Is it still going? Yeah, it's still going. I don't know what happened. It went into an error for some reason. So yeah, this is the oil that I use to when I cook anything, whether I'm frying or whatever. So I just sprayed this in there because I didn't have no olive oil. And these are the rigatoni noodles that I use. They're big, as you can see, and it's the rigatoni number 19. I believe if you go to different stores, they have different sizes of like pin pasta, rigatoni. So this is 2 bags of that, and I have another 2 bags that I have to put in the water once it starts to boil. Once my noodles are finished, I drop some butter in there, stir it up. They say butter is supposed to make the noodles not stick together, I guess. And so that's done. So my next mixture is this. I don't like ricotta cheese, so I make my own cheese, and I got this recipe from a young lady at church who don't like ricotta either, probably about 20 years ago or so. And so this is 3 of these containers right here of whipped cream cheese. You can use regular cream cheese. Whipped is just a little bit more better because it's smooth or whatever. So I got 3 of these containers in here, 3 large eggs, and then I'm going to use some sour cream. Again, if you're just making it for your family, you don't need 3 of these. You could just buy one of those blocks of cream cheese, or maybe a smaller one if you want to use this and just have more of your cheese mixture to go, but you don't need 3 if you're not cooking for a large amount of people. And so again, I told you y'all before, I really don't measure because I make this so much. I just dump. So you just go by your eye and just spoon it in. Normally I get a regular size sour cream. I think it's 8 or 16 ounces, and I use that whole thing with a whole block of cream cheese. So that's what I do when I'm just making it for my family. Just the regular size, 8 or 16 ounces. I can't remember what the regular size is, but that's what I use. That's the size that I use for my family. Then you're gonna sprinkle your oregano in here. Give it some seasoning and some color. You can put black pepper in this too if you want to. My water is boiling for my noodles. So I have 4 bags of noodles. If it's for your family, you really only need 1 bag. And 1 bag with 1 pack of hamburger meat will make a lot of baked ziti. Like, you'll be eating on it for like a week and a half if it's only like maybe 4 people in your family, 6 people, you'll go through it pretty good. So what else I'm gonna add into this mix, if I get it in the bowl without making a mess, is mozzarella cheese. So I'm gonna put mozzarella cheese in the mix, and I'm also gonna sprinkle it on top. So I'll show you how I layer it as well. And sometimes I add more to this but I use my big bowl for the macaroni noodles, because that's what I mix everything up in. I may have to get my big pot out and mix it all up in there that I use to cook my greens in, because I don't have any like huge bowls. I normally don't cook for this amount of people. I don't think I made baked ziti or anything for this many people. So this normally is good for me to you know, mix up my mix for, you know, for my baked ziti and my lasagna when I choose to make it. Also too, in your meat sauce, because I'm doing this for a football team and it's still going to be good. Normally I cut up some red peppers. I like using red peppers, red bell peppers, and I cut up some shallots. You got all your stuff together? Okay. Why don't you make your lunch? You got turkey salad in there. I don't know what that is, but so as y'all can see, I'm sorry if I wasn't showing y'all this. Y'all seeing how this are all coming together. And this is not going to be nasty if you're one that don't like ricotta cheese or just want to try a new recipe. Cream cheese and sour cream, I promise you, is not nasty. I've never liked ricotta cheese. There we go. Oh, this is a lot of stirring. What are you doing?
You need a pan under here.
Huh?
Oh, you need a pan.
There's a pan right there on the counter. Put the bread over there so it won't fall. So I should have put this on fast pace so you're not seeing me, watching me sit here and just mix. So the second part of this video, because I'm gonna stop it, is going to be me showing you the final mix. Because basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to dump the meat in another pot. I'm going to dump the meat in the pot with the noodles, and then I'm going to mix it up. And so this is basically going to go in the middle of the layers. It's going to be 2 layers. The bottom layer is going to be meat and noodles. This is going to be the middle layer, and then the top layer will be the rest of the meat and noodles with the cheeses sprinkled on top. And I do sprinkle a little bit of the cheddar cheese on top. So I will come back with that in a minute. Peace.